Every quantum leap I'm finding myself trapped inside of people. Differences underneath the fundamental side of ego. Truly not that equal, that's why they say don't meet your heroes. We are part of this evil, so pardon all my amigos. Feeling slightly psychologically senile, it's like a part of me is out here signaling a watery grave. I hit the lottery at the bottom of the bottle, the freedom handwritten messages thanking us for the souls we save. 7 seals hiding underneath the 7 seas. Find me riding that tsunami to the mouth of the beast. Same old saying, surf's up, they took a lot of abuse. A lot of projects gonna bomb, they are short on the fuses. And I sympathize, singled out monsters seeming civilized. Synchronizing up with the mausoleum in the sky. Need another reason, kicking dust up to seal the fires. Out here with the sign that reads, free the virus.
People calm down. Standing out here yelling rabble, rabble, rabble isn't going to help anything.
But we don't know what else to do there.
They're killing all this time, drowning in suds laid at the tavern. The rest of humanity trying to climb out the cavern. Imagine the smell, these clunky devs always relapse. Getting rugged by another pleb sitting in rehab. Motherfuckers out here simping trying to get a launch state. Flexing in the mirror like how big is your apostate. Propping up these ominous horror scenes, they theorize. Show of hands, how many y'all can read it right? Heads down deciphering the codes, they need the cash flow. It's all like trust me bro, when light another flash loan. Bathed in the unsolved mysteries, they realize nothing they were working on was real life. Identify the need to feed hostility inside of these genetics. Human beings being redesigned, but who takes the credit? Meanwhile the rest of us are drowning in debt, and they wonder why we won't ever forget when the shit gets shit.
Motherfuckers.
And in these 10 commandments.
Ooh, I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. Jeez, how many times did I say Bitcoin was going to hit 60% dominance? A lot. I couldn't even find the tweet because I said it so long ago, but it was like maybe Q2 of 2023. So Bitcoin is going to hit 60% dominance. And I think it's understated. I think it's actually way higher than that. We're going to talk a little bit about Base today, a little bit about Uniswap, a little bit about Bitcoin, of course, and runes. Are they decoupling from the mother token Bitcoin, the granddaddy token? We'll see. We'll see. But welcome, Dead Cat Crypto channel. Joe here, you there. This is the channel dedicated to the crypto user. That's right, you, the one who actually buys the tokens, uses the apps, you know, stuff like that. Man, this is not a channel for pump and dumps. No boring tech talk here, but what I do for you is examine the real value and use cases of crypto. We do our best to avoid rug pulls, of course, and we look for what actually makes sense so that our portfolios are never exposed to unnecessary risk. I've been here since 2017, and I assume you want to last as long as I have in this super volatile minefield that is the crypto market. So please support me by subscribing below. Happy to have new people, happy to have returning people as well. And in the description, you could actually join my Telegram, which gives you more insights into what I actually do, how I actually think, how I approach the market, and also ways to win money by supporting my content. But man, today, I just want to rub it in because I told you so. Like I said, I knew Bitcoin dominance was going to continue to rise. We'll talk about reasons for that. Big announcement from Uniswap Labs. They have their own L2 coming to Ethereum. Man, I still don't know what to think about the L2 ecosystems on ETH. There has been a nice crypto relief rally. China stimulus, maybe. Don't know. All I know is the prices are doing a lot better than they were in August and September. We'll talk about Bitcoin runes. Like I said, are they decoupling from BTC? I just actually made a video for Dog, which is the #1 rune by market cap. It's about a $500 million market cap, and I'll release that tomorrow on YouTube. And then eventually some bits and pieces on Twitter as the week goes on. And then we'll look at Base. I've been talking a lot about Base, but how do you invest in Base? There's no token. We'll talk about this. See, some people are here. Happy to have you check in the chat. And as always, this is not financial advice. This is an educational channel, entertainment channel. Even I'm not a trader. I'm not an advisor for your portfolio. You do what you want. You take your own risk. I just tell you how I approach these markets and what I do with my own bags. This channel is sponsored by Shade Protocol. It's a privacy-preserving DeFi suite on the Secret Network. And if you see me squinting, it's because I have a new monitor and I don't know how to tone down the brightness. Like my other monitor was set up nicely for live streams, and brand new monitor. It's beautiful, looks a lot better, and it's blinding the hell out of me. So I'll have to work on this for the next one. I'm not going to do it in the middle of the stream, of course. And finally, have to plug NFT Nashville. That's the crypto meetup, the conference, the event that I co-host. That's happening on November the 2nd. Side event November 1st, which is Friday night. Main event the 2nd, which is Saturday. You'll hear from NFT projects, platform builders, even DeFi protocols who are involved in the NFT space. In the NFT space, it's very niche within crypto. It's very, very strong communities, and they deserve some recognition. We deserve some recognition because we kind of held it down during the bear market when everybody else was running for the hills. The NFT degens, the creators, the artists, the builders, they were still here. Whew. As my fantasy football team gets absolutely waxed, I have to mention that my New York Mets are doing well. I think they're going to mount a comeback against the Dodgers. Game is tonight. I'm feeling pretty confident. I like their chances despite needing to win the next two. And you might say, oh, well, they're not going to win 3 in a row. Who cares? They already won 1. So now they only got to win 2 in a row. And that's just how it works. That's how it works. A lot of nerve-wracking games in baseball. I'm a big baseball fan. And football, I'm doing fantasy football, and I am not enjoying fantasy football one bit. I haven't done it in a really long time. I'm getting my ass handed to me week in, week out. So I might need to bring on an assistant manager or something to help me. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's start with Bitcoin, I guess. We'll switch up the tunes a little bit. But Bitcoin, where do I even begin? Let's make this small. Let's make me big. And you're going to see, I don't like this. I don't like this display going in and out of the brightness. And I'm going to have to do something about that. But I don't know how to do it while, maybe that'll help. I don't know. I just put the night light on. What is that even? What even is that? Maybe it's better. Maybe it's worse. I don't know, but I should have enough light in here. I've been working out of this studio. Look, I'm the last one here in the studio on this Sunday night. Everybody else is out having fun, but I've been in here for quite some time, and I've never had this kind of trouble with the lights. So let's talk about Bitcoin. So we're in the middle of a nice little relief rally. What caused it? Who cares? People stopped selling. People started buying, right? People started buying into this, right? I don't know what the catalyst was. Who cares, really? I've seen articles that they're talking about, this bunch of stuff happened in China stimulus, putting out a statement. Oh, it's the jobs numbers, it's the interest rates. I happen to think that when the market turns around, like, there's probably multiple catalysts, or maybe there's none. Maybe they're just sellers are exhausted. Maybe there's some people trading on inside news that hasn't even broken yet. Who cares? Bitcoin is flirting with all-time highs, right? Flirting with all-time highs. And that's really all that matters. And we could look at some of the winners and losers. That's what I like to do. So let's get to that. Share my screen. Here it is. So I like to sort by 7 days. I don't look at the day-to-day, minute-to-minute changes. And what have we got? We got ApeCoin absolutely crushing it, up almost doubling in 7 days. We've got Doge, the king of memes, coming in at 27% for the week. And then Beam, what is this? I don't even know. And then, of course, Mog. Mog's been hanging around, market cap, closing in on $1 billion. And, can anything compete with Doge? I think so. I think Dog on Bitcoin can compete with Doge in the long run. We'll see. We'll definitely see. Like I said, I did the video about Dog, and I think it does have a chance to flip Doge. I think it's the only meme token that has a chance to flip Doge, just because, well, people still haven't really discovered runes yet. They haven't discovered runes. So, last time we talked, we didn't talk much about Bitcoin last time. We talked about Solana a whole lot. We talked about Solana, their phone, the Seeker phone, putting a device in people's actual hands, focusing on apps. And I think that's what's important, apps. I believe apps are needed in a way that just hides away all the blockchain, the crypto, the DeFi primitives, and all that. Otherwise, you're only going to have power users and people chasing airdrops using this stuff. And there are too many chains to settle for that. Way too many tokens, way too many chains. So, and by the way, here are our losers, BitTensor. Well, BitTensor's been one of the winners over the last 12 months, I would imagine. So I'm not that worried about 8% dip this week. Maker, I don't know what to make of Maker. I thought Maker was absolutely essential for DeFi and Ethereum, especially, but DAI just losing ground, I guess, to the more centralized stable coins. What are you going to do? USDC and Tether are just everywhere now. They're ubiquitous. They're everywhere except Cardano, because Cardano they don't like the stable coin. They want their own stable coins that don't stay stable with no liquidity, right? And then there's Airdrome. That's the token for the biggest DEX on Base. We'll talk about Base in a little bit. I guess let's start with Bitcoin, right? Let's start with Bitcoin, and we'll start with the I told you so chart. And that's this. What, I'm not logged in? Come on. What's going on? Why are you killing me here? Well, look at this one. This one we're not going to be able to see either. But there we go. That's all we need to see, right? Somewhere around here, said Bitcoin, it's going back to 60% dominance. And what is dominance? Bitcoin dominance is the percent of the total market cap that is in Bitcoin. And you can see, if you want to look at this as a chart, you can see that maybe here is kind of like a sweet spot where things might level out. People might be thinking, oh, it's over. Let's start moving into alts. I don't think all this money is going to be screaming for alts. I just don't see it. And if you zoom out, you can see like we've gotten way higher than 60% in the last cycle, December 2020, 72% Bitcoin dominance. And then it fell, right? It fell drastically, by the way. It fell all the way down to here. And then somewhere in here was the, wasn't this the DPEG of UST, or was that in 2022? I don't even remember. But the point is, I will say it here on the channel. I don't believe all this money is going to leave Bitcoin and go into all these crappy DeFi protocols on these low liquidity, hard to use chains. I just don't see it. I think people who are going to take profits in Bitcoin are going to either exit, or they're going to play around and gamble on the new Bitcoin casino, which is BRC20s, ordinal inscriptions, and runes. I don't see all this money going into DeFi. And even if it did, there are too many chains for it to hit equally. And you have these massive 100Xs of these, even mid to large cap cryptocurrencies. Last cycle, the winners were what? Matic, ADA, Sol, Avalanche, and Terra. Like, those are like the five. And they weren't micro caps when the cycle began. Maybe Matic was, but these were already, well-known projects being covered by Coin Bureau and all the others. Again, I don't think we're going to see, that many tokens that are in the hundreds of millions market cap close in on 100 billion. I just don't see it. If I'm wrong, I'll be happy to be wrong, because that means my portfolio will be absolutely rocking, because I'm only about 55% in Bitcoin, and then I take shots with alts with the rest of my portfolio. But Bitcoin dominance, higher is better for me. Higher is better for me. I want to see more adoption of BRC20s and runes. And like I said, I just did a video. I recorded it, edited it, and let's talk about runes. And we're going to talk about only one rune. If you don't know what runes are, they're kind of like fungible tokens on Bitcoin. They're like the second or third generation of fungible tokens. And this is a tweet from Leonidas. Leonidas is I want to call him a founder. He founded the idea, but he's not like really the founder of, let's just say he doesn't have a founder's allocation of this dog token. He does not. This was as fair of an airdrop as could possibly happen, and that's the idea behind runes. They're supposed to be fair so people can gamble without giving up a huge edge to the issuers of the token. Dog had no pre-sale, no insiders, no paid KOLs. Like I said, there's no allocation for him or team, and they're not willing to pay market makers. They're not willing to pay listing fees to get on centralized exchanges. The supply is completely circulating, and this was volunteer, right? You held a specific ordinal inscription in order to get this airdrop. If you didn't want this airdrop, or you thought it was just BS, you could have sold that inscription for something like $6,000-7,000 US. So there was incentive to avoid this airdrop, right? And I'm sure some people maybe gathered more, and that was a runestone, by the way. The video will explain it. I don't want to go too much into it, but I will say this here. He says Dog will flip all their meme coins. I agree, and I would include SHIB and Doge in that list. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm bullish on Ordinals Protocol, bullish on BRC20s, runes, and all the other token standards that have emerged on Bitcoin. I like the idea of these side chains and L2s. They are separate from Bitcoin, but they're going to use Bitcoin in some way. I understand there's trade-offs to be made. For example, you have these wrapped Bitcoins, and the latest one is Coinbase's. You're going to have a lot of Bitcoin being custodied or concentrated in maybe multi-sigs of sorts in order to issue derivatives on these L2 sidechains. I don't know how it's going to work, but this is part of it. Once you have quote unquote institutional adoption, you're already accepting that there's going to be a whole bunch of custodied Bitcoin somewhere. Runes, 100% is it circulating with the community. It can be bought, sold on Magic Eden. And here is a list of 25 Bitcoin runes. These are meme coins, right? These are not DeFi tokens. They're not trying to be DAOs. They're not it's not like DeFi where there's always a grift and there's always a quote unquote utility that never actually pans out. But Dog is number one at the time of this tweet. $450 million market cap. It's about 550 million right now. And you got Pups, Billy, Lobo, all these others. Pick what you like. Listen, if you're already dabbling in meme tokens, why would you fade the ones on Bitcoin? That's all I'm saying. It doesn't make logical sense. And the fact that so many people are not only surprised, but upset that Bitcoin's dominance keeps increasing, you failed to see the opportunity right in front of your face. And that was to kind of ride the coattails of the Bitcoin narrative with ETFs, ordinals, and all this build out in and around the Bitcoin blockchain. If you guys remember, a while ago, I said to keep an eye on fraud, keep an eye on government crackdown regulation, and that's because I think governments will use instances like this to overregulate the space. That's another reason why I'm more bullish on Bitcoin than DeFi. I think DeFi, by making promises and marketing and issuing tokens, they set themselves up not only for lawsuits, but actual fraud that governments can come in, seize a whole bunch of tokens, completely screw over the whole community like they did with Terraform Labs. And, you know, some people will get away with it, but the community is not, right? The community is going to be left holding the bag. And then they're going to make these sweeping laws at some point, at least in the United States, that is going to hurt DeFi long term. And keep an eye on this narrative. I've noticed a lot more spam emails the last month and a half. I almost fell for a scam, somebody looking for like a business partnership. And I do get emails all the time for that. I usually don't respond, but this particular one was pretty convincing. And they almost got me. They sent me and I said, before we go any further, I require a meeting. And they said, okay, how's Google Meet? Google Meet's fine. I don't have to download anything. I use Google Meet all the time. Let's use it. When I went to the meeting, there was just something not right. When I was clicking the link, it was opening Google Maps. And I was like, what is going on? I tried it a couple times. And then I realized the link it looked like a Google Meet link, which I have used hundreds of times, but it had a /professional. And I was like, I don't think that's what my Google Meet links look like. And it turned out to be a scam. What was going to happen was I was going to have to download something. It was going to compromise my computer, my wallets, and all my money. So I dodged it. Be careful. And most importantly, if you're a founder or thinking about issuing a token, be really careful, because even if you're not a scam or a bluff from scratch, I think you're still going to be under the scrutiny of governments, especially if you are in the United States. What else we got? Here we go. So, $1 million crypto donation going to Kamala, hope I say it right, from Chris Larson. Who's Chris Larson? He's the co-founder of Ripple. So Ripple was tied up in these government, let's call it scrutiny, right? Maybe frivolous lawsuit, maybe not. I didn't follow the whole Ripple thing, but the SEC was all over Ripple for like years. But now Ripple loves the administration, so they're going to donate money to keep not only the candidate, but the party. They're going to keep the party in power. I don't see how this really makes a whole lot of sense, but everyone's free to donate to whoever they choose, I guess. But this is a legit donation here. So she's got some support from the crypto community. We talked a couple weeks ago that it looks like Trump positioned himself strategically as the crypto candidate, right? Obviously, he's like, now all of a sudden he's best friends with Elon Musk. That can't hurt him. I guess just watch this. Like if you have any stake in the American election and you're somewhat of a single issue voter for crypto, maybe you need to see what she said and what's actionable in what she said for crypto. I have friends in TradFi who think that no matter who wins the election, it's good for crypto. I don't know. I don't have an opinion. And I'm not even thinking about the election yet. What is it, in like a week? I have no idea. I'll figure it out after the break.
Every quantum leap I'm finding myself trapped inside of people. Differences underneath the fundamental side of ego. Truly not that equal, that's why they say don't meet your heroes. We are part of this evil, so pardon all my amigos. Feeling slightly psychologically senile, it's like a part of me is out here signaling a watery grave. I hit the lottery, get the bottom of the bottle, the freedom handwritten messages thanking us for the souls we saved. 7 seals hiding underneath the 7 seas. Find me riding that tsunami to the mouth of the beast. Same old saying, surf's up, they took a lot of abuse. A lot of projects gonna bomb, they are short on the fuses. And I sympathize, singled out monsters, even civilized. Synchronizing up with the mausoleum in the sky. Need another reason treason, kicking dust up to seal the fires. Out here with the sign that reads free the virus.
People, calm down. Standing out here yelling, rabble, rabble.
All right. Let's talk about Uniswap a little bit. Put some music on. Zoom out. A little too close, right, guys? Nobody needs me that close. Uniswap, man, I always felt like Uniswap is somewhat not an enigma, but I feel like they did everything right. I feel like Uniswap was really the first DeFi primitive that was really user friendly, right? It was a DEX. You swap tokens. That's it. You supply liquidity. You collect the fees from the platform, just like a centralized exchange would have, would generate fees. And since you're supplying the liquidity, you get the fees. If you remember, Uniswap had no token whatsoever. Then they launched a token. It was an airdrop. And at one point that airdrop was worth something like $16,000 during like DeFi summer. Not too bad. And I think you only had to do like a couple transactions on ETH to get it. You could have been using multiple wallets. You could have made a ton of money with the ETH airdrop. So now they're coming into they're still a monster app on ETH, and they generate a ton of fees for the network. Problem is they're generating fees for the network and not for themselves. So what are they going to do with a token? They have the DAO. What do? They announce they're gonna launch their own L2 on Ethereum that's specifically designed for DeFi, and it's going to be called Unchain. And Uniswap Labs made this announcement, and they see DeFi as an area where improvement is necessary, and also in a way that it advances the interests of Ethereum, their scaling roadmap. And I'm reading this right off their blog. They want a fast, decentralized superchain, an L2 that's built for DeFi, but also liquidity across chains. They see fragmented liquidity as a huge problem. And I don't do too much transacting on the ETH layer 2s. I played around with Base a little bit, played around with Polygon a little bit. What else? I messed around on a couple of the other ones. I don't know what to do with my ETH. I probably should supply liquidity, and just earn a yield on it. But man, Uniswap Labs, they're identifying some challenges, and they're saying that Uniswap protocol, it's the most popular example of a decentralized application. Over 6 years, I don't know if you believe this or you know this already, they processed 2.4 trillion in volume, millions of users, and a $500 million in individual trades lifetime. So they've made progress. DeFi, they say, still faces challenges, and I'm certain that one of those challenges is that they don't the volume they generate on ETH and the fees they generate, something like 2/3 of it goes to ETH. It doesn't go to Uniswap as a protocol. And obviously things get expensive on ETH. They want to attack the cost of transacting while also further enhancing decentralization. They think Ethereum is highly decentralized, and this is what has caused the speed and affordability to be compromised on the L1 I'm talking about. But they think they can solve this as a DeFi focused L2. So they're going to, take the baton here and further scale Ethereum by launching their own L2, I said. And man, they're going to have their own validators, their own nodes to verify blocks. It'll be an additional layer of finality, reducing the risk of invalid blocks, it says here. And speed is going to be a priority. And they're looking at 250 microsecond or millisecond sub blocks. it's going to feel instant, which is not what Ethereum feels like. Okay. They have some collaborators they're talking about. And in the blog, it says, let's scale Ethereum together. Well, look. Uniswap as an application is awesome. It brought people into crypto from centralized exchanges into crypto, 2.4 trillion in volume. You can't deny the success of Uniswap. You just can't. Version 2, then you have version 3, concentrated liquidity. This is great for people supplying liquidity, able to manage their positions. Sure, it's risky, but you could also make a lot more money with less liquidity. It's great. Token, I have no idea what to do with the token. I don't want to join the Uniswap DAO. I have no idea how that token correlates with the success or failure of the platform itself. Revenue generated by the protocol, as far as I know, 100% of it goes to the liquidity providers. It doesn't go to the people that hold the token. And now you might say, oh, but this is on purpose. They don't want to be an unregistered security. It's already gray area the way they're operating. So I still don't see a reason to buy the token, although I would love to hold a whole bunch of DeFi tokens and know exactly what they're doing for me. Have a whole portfolio, Curve, whatever, Uniswap, all these DeFi tokens, great. Chainlink. I don't know what they do. I don't know why I should hold them. It seems they're just speculative and they're used for some form of governance. Although I saw some tweets today, it looks like Uniswap Labs didn't quite consult the DAO, and this came out of left field for a lot of people. Too bad. They're a company, and a DAO is what? What are you governing? It gums things up, I think. So I don't know what this is going to look like for the token. It's probably going to be better for the token. Maybe they'll find some use for it when it's on its own network, generating fees. But I think overall, this is a loss for ETH because Uniswap was generating a lot of fees for the network. A lot. And the way L2s are now, they only generate like a few thousand a week back to the layer 1, the ETH layer. Only a few $1,000 a week. I think base is like $10,000 a week or something. And that's the biggest one by TVL. So this is a loss for ETH, but maybe it's better for DeFi. I think more L2s, fine. Just have 1 million L2s. I don't really care. Does it fragment liquidity? Sure. Does it create a need to build some kind of bridge that joins all the L2s together so it feels like one, and maybe someone could slap a wallet on top of it so that I don't need to know I'm transacting across several different L2s? Yes, that's exactly what needs to happen. There's no crypto beginner that should be using bridges knowingly. They probably shouldn't even be supplying liquidity or voting on governance knowingly. Their actions should just be, what they want to do, whether it's play a game, buy an NFT or something, swaps and whatever, however the yield is generated for them, all done under the hood. And that's that. But while we're on the subject of L2s, let's look at base. And bring it in. All right. So I think this is big news. I saw this coming a little late, but I remember talking about this maybe like a month or two ago. Don't take your eyes off base. There's an advantage to being associated with the biggest American centralized exchange, a huge player in crypto. They have multiple segments to their business, whether it's Coinbase custody, the institutional side, the venture capital wing, arm, I should say, of Coinbase. And now they've got Base. It's their layer 2. And it says here they surpass Arbitrum to become top rollup chain. Rollup is L2, right? And they're saying the TVL surpassed Arbitrums. The reason why this is significant to me, and I don't like to overstate the importance of TVL, is we looked at it and they do have good stablecoin liquidity. They don't even have a token. They don't even have a token. There's no base token, right? So this is all, the dexes that are there. Where Uniswap is the number 2 dex actually on base. Airdrome is number 1. They've got more than half of it. And it says base operates using optimistic rollups, enhancing efficiency and reducing costs. I still need to do some application reviews over there. Maybe find some nice yield farming opportunities, make some videos for you guys. But that's it. Base in 1 year of existence has now become the number one L2. And man, how do you feel if you're Polygon, right? Like Polygon was like the first, like, oh, layer 2 scaling is just we're going to be the best and all this stuff. They spent a lot of money, trying to attract NFT collections and marketing and all that. In the bear market, Base steps in and in a year is number 1. So, and down here, there's more comparisons, but it says Base is one of the top 5 blockchain networks in terms of TVL. That's in all of crypto. So it's basically like Ethereum. Tron's always number 2. Yeah, Tron, Solana, Binance. I always forget about Binance. And I guess Base is number 5. So conclusions, Base has grown sharply. Yeah, no duh. We looked at this website a couple of times. It's L2 beat. And here's the TVL. It still has Arbitrum ahead. They measure it differently. And I realized you got to go over here where it says native TVL, where Base is number 1. The numbers still don't jive. I don't know how they calculate this, but the rankings seem right. And it says here, these tokens are using the L2 as their ledger. They're minted directly on the L2. So these are tokens that have been launched on Base. Whereas Canonical here, these are the assets that have been bridged from ETH. So they're actually Ethereum tokens. And then you get the bridged version on the L2. They call that Canonical. Base, only has way less. So in other words, the majority of Arbitrum's liquidity are actually ETH tokens that have been bridged over. That's the simple way I can put it. Base, what do you want to say? More organic TVL? I guess they don't have their token. And I don't think a protocol. See, we're talking about networks here, not protocols, but it's hard to count their own token in the TVL, right? But now you can't even compare the two because Base doesn't have one. I don't know. How do we invest in Base? How do we invest? I have no idea. Coin stock is how I invested in Base. And that's that. I bought a bunch of coin stock about a year and a half ago, maybe. And I'm like, there's my exposure to Coinbase and whatever they do. How do we invest in Base? Do we buy this Airdrome token? Don't know what it does. If it's a typical DEX token, I don't want to be within, 5 feet of it. I want to social distance myself away from those DEX tokens, but I will give it a look, maybe, because I do want to have some on-chain investment in Base, the number 1 L2, and I still believe Ethereum is going to be the number 1 DeFi chain for a long time. Technically, whatever happens on the L2s is Ethereum. It benefits Ethereum, although not as much as if they happen directly on that L1. So then I came across this DEX token, this DEX called Alien Base, and let's switch the title here. So small DEX on Base. I think it's the 5th biggest DEX on Base. And so 10 million in liquidity. The token market cap, let me bring it up. Let me bring it up. And I'm showing you this for a reason. Just bear with me here. CoinGecko. And I want to look at Alien Base. It's ALB token. And let's bring it up. Where's the market cap? Why is this so zoomed in? So the market cap's 9 million. Only about a third of it's in circulation. So you definitely have to watch that. They pay out protocol revenue to those who stake the token. Yes, there's a lockup. So don't go aping in just yet. I'll look at it. I'll do a video. I talked to them in a Telegram. Their community was actually able to speak to the token, the roadmap and all that. I'm usually bullish when they're not just like, hey, buy the token. Here's the link to buy it. No, tell me what it does so that I can make the decision for myself. So I'll give it a hard look, of course. And, I'll let you know what I come up with. I'll do a video on maybe the three dexes or something, the 3 DeFi tokens on Base. But if you want to front run me, this is Alien Base. I don't own any yet. So figure we'll end on a tweet, a bullish Bitcoin tweet. I think we should do that. Here we go. I put out this tweet. When is this from? April. This was when I was releasing those bangers, everybody. And it says price action says it all. This is a critique of DEX tokens, by the way. DeFi tokens, where DeFi tokens are underperforming and everyone's saying, we're in a bear market. This is right after Bitcoin hit its all-time highs. This is when the stock market was near all-time highs. Okay? So I'm tired of hearing the excuses from these teams that issue tokens where like the market conditions are to blame for their horrendously marketed and designed tokens that 90% of the time are not even needed. So I'll leave you with this. It's like a poem. Price action says it all. The Bitcoin dips have gotten absolutely gobbled up. Inscription, BRC20, and Rune communities expand exponentially, and they still are. Bitcoin is the leader in culture and adoption. The charts tell the story. Look at some charts. The charts always tell the story. If the token's going down, everything else macro-wise is going up, that means nobody cares about that token. Or that means insiders are just dumping relentlessly on people. That's possible too. Or that just means the token was given away for free and people are taking their profits while they can, right? But the charts always tell the story. What do charts say about tokens that lag the market? And this tweet, I did make a video about comparing these two. It says, I'm looking at ADA and Atom specifically as I evaluate my portfolio. Each makes up about 3 to 5% at any given time. Well, I'll tell you right now what I did. All my Atom, I liquid staked and I'm farming an airdrop on Neutron, the drop airdrop. ADA, I just hold it. I don't know what to do with it. They actually have a lot of bullish news coming out now, but how long before that news translates to good activity, price action on the token, I don't know. And it says, and both are being outperformed by the likes of Ethereum Classic, VeChain, Solana, and Doge. These are fair comparisons, by the way, because these are like the OG tokens, especially VeChain, and Doge. Compare them to Atom and ADA. It's fair. These are also mature networks having similar token market caps 6 months ago. The charts are the scoreboard in a bull market. Don't let any founder tell you we're just waiting for market conditions to improve. No. Improve your protocol, improve your marketing, improve your messaging, improve your token. No. What else do you want? Bitcoin's at 70K. Your token's 89% off the highs. What is wrong with you? Why are you lying? Another reason why I'm not as bullish on DeFi as I am on Bitcoin. What is my incentive to buy all these tokens? Someone's talking about SWI in the chat. Patience is not a virtue. The highs of a bull market are fleeting. Don't believe me? Look at the charts from the last cycle. They go up in a hurry and they come down even faster. So you're waiting 4 years for what? to round trip your bags? What if they never even go up in the first place? That's worse than round tripping your bags. So my advice, take an objective glance at each network. Here I'm talking about Cardano and Cosmos. With both comparisons, I'm basically saying they're not as decentralized as they look at face value. They have obvious single points of failure. Price has suffered at the hands of entities that I mentioned here. For Cardano, it's the foundations. It's Charles Hoskinson. The network goes as he goes. Cosmos, 2 entities and a handful of validators run the show. The ecosystem goes as they go. The ecosystem can reflect poorly on these entities, or the ecosystem can be rewarded when these entities do the right thing and do the smart thing and, take some calculated risks that end up paying off, let's say. Meanwhile, the rest of crypto is caught up in exciting new narratives like DePIN, ordinals, and memes, and soon real-world assets, right? The attention economy is in full swing, and I'm going to end it here. You can read this whole damn thing if you want, but in the end, what has to happen? What has to happen? Let me get rid of this. What has to happen? I'll tell you what has to happen. The tokens that you're in for all this time, you're telling all your friends, you're buying more. Oh, I'm DCAing. Look how smart I am. They need to go up. They need to go up. Otherwise, your entire portfolio is at risk. If the downside risk is greater than the upside, what are you doing? What are you doing? And this is why I've been saying, just have a chunk of your portfolio in Bitcoin. It's the least volatile one. It's gaining institutional adoption. You can't go on the internet without seeing something about Bitcoin. You can't say that about most of the tokens, even in the top 100. I own the Graph token, GRT token on Ethereum. I have not seen a single tweet or an article about it. I don't even know why I hold it. I bought it because I consider the protocol to be essential DeFi infrastructure. And I was like, I'm going to buy this because I want actual tokens related to protocols that do something. And then I just never sold it. It's idiotic. It's less than 1% of my portfolio, but that's not the point. Some people, their entire portfolio is tokens that just make them feel good. Well, does the price make you feel good? What's it going to take? Is Bitcoin going to have to go to 350K for your old tokens that you bought last cycle and held through the bear market to go back halfway to all-time highs? Do you know how many people are waiting to dump these tokens? I have ADA. I round trip some of it. I bought it 2 cents and it went up to $3 and I barely sold any. It's like 40 cents now, 30 cents. Do you know how many people bought in the last 6 months as it was bouncing between 30 and 50 cents and would sell it all if it gets to like 55 cents? Do you know the headwinds waiting for these tokens as the rest of the market, the new tokens especially, just soar to all-time highs? Like a lot of these tokens have people dying to get out. I would unload all my ADA at like 75 cents and I wouldn't look back. It's like a 30x for me. So I wouldn't look back. And I'm harsh on Cardano because they talk the most trash and the community is the most isolated and clueless of them all. Not only that, they have these entities, these founding organizations, and I just don't know if they deliver value to the network in the amounts needed to make token go up. And that's all that matters. If the token's not supposed to go up, then you should have never released a token. Let's address this question and we'll get out of here. You think SWI will dump like other Cosmos coins? Is it proof of stake? Are validators getting the token for free? Are they giving away the token for free via treasury spends and protocol owned liquidity and all that nonsense? Incentives? Then yes, it's gonna dump. Are they smart with their treasury? Are the validators in it for the long run? Is there actual value being generated on the chain? Then no, maybe it'll buck the trend and it'll go up. I've heard nothing good about SWI, but I'm not buying these tokens. You know how much research is required to make an intelligent decision on a proof of stake token? A lot. And I'm not putting in that time. There's too many. You should work for my attention. And a lot of projects they just don't.